Did you know that the Black Business Association of Oregon is here to help Black-owned businesses thrive?
They are now offering grants, access to capital programs, and direct technical assistance for Portland-based businesses.
Applications are open from October 1st to October 31st, so don't wait.
To apply for the grants and learn more about their programming, visit bbaoregon.org. That's bbaoregon.org.
This opportunity was made possible by Prosper Portland.
Yeah, I'm ready. Wait, what did MJ say we're calling this again? Oh, right. No, I got it. I know we're live. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. Live. In person, live Raw.
In Batman's, I guess.
Yeah.
And everyone knows not to touch his car, because if this is a place that I can't at all fathom going to because it is in fact on fire and there's someone doing drugs somewhere.
Everywhere. There's someone doing drugs everywhere.
I can park my Ferrari down there on the street next to a parking lot?
Bet you ain't know that.
Like, that is wild for the night. Shout out to Lily in the chat.
Shout out to Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us, ladies. We're going to talk about a few things today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about TYT. I don't know if this is, like, if we call it a fall from grace or a...
Well...
Unsure.
Yeah. I don't think it's a fall. I don't think it's a fall from grace. I think it's a level up.
Okay.
They're not making the mistakes here. They're benefiting. This is what they wanted to do. This is their choice.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about TYT and why they left the left. We're going to talk about the Daniel Penny versus Luigi Mangione treatment, public and media reaction, and free to homie, Briana Boston, who was recently arrested for using new pop culture phrase. So, you know.
I'm sorry, what? I can't wait to talk about that. I'm just confused.
Well, she on a phone call said delay, deny, depose.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember this now.
Someone from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and the
And
FBI was like, we actually have something to say about that.
Lame.
So those are the things we'll talk about later in the show.
Yeah. For anybody that tuned in while we were warming up, your ears were treated to the fine selections of one Inspector Deck. You know what I'm saying? I've been on, listen, in preparation for this Sunday at White Eagle.
Announcements.
No requests.
Already?
Didn't we just do
that?
Just like that. End of the year.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry pre-Christmas.
Christmas, as Briana would say it.
Must learn how to
So,
pronounce
no requests this Sunday at White Eagle Saloon from 6 to 9, myself and DJ Cliff. That's our holiday edition. Wu-Tang is for the children. We were going to do a toy drive. There was, we weren't able to get things organized in time for that, but it's still going to be all woo all night.
For real?
Yeah.
Nothing in between.
No, because that's how tributes and dedications work. I'm so confused when people do this stuff. Oh, I'm having a such and such night. Oh, it's a Beyonce night. Awesome. So what are you playing? A little bit of Kelly Rowland. Okay, that's adjacent. Why are we listening to Rihanna? It's a Beyonce night. Why are we listening to Fantasia?
I am absolutely in agreement. What if it was a cover? Would that work?
If it's a cover, then absolutely.
Okay, all right.
But when you have
that
an artist...
Okay, go ahead.
What was the
my original question was... Now I lost it. Wait, stick with me. No, definitely not. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. Michelle mentioned, made a suggestion, do all woo, and invite palm and tarot readers.
Oh, it's all woo and woo, like
right. Right. No, Lily, I will not be in my Santa suit. I will not.
Okay, but I could to the camera show a picture of you in a Santa suit.
Sure.
I just happen to have it.
Oh, look at that. Ready to go.
I don't know if this is actually going to do it.
Yeah, no, that'll do it.
Did you say probably not?
They can see it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to put my hand behind it like the YouTubers do. Does that make it focus? Anyway, Ambush is Santa now.
Yeah, I was, shout out to Equitable Giving Circle. Shout out to the crew.
Woo, always.
I was, Santa last Friday? Was that Saturday? It was a Saturday. Right? Santa last Saturday. It was my first time being Santa. It's pretty cool. It was a kind of an interesting experience for me, in the way that I was against it when I was initially asked. And you guys are loyal listeners. You know I love the kids. I'm not really sure why I was against it. But I was just like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I don't know what the conception in my head was of the Santa experience. But I figure, like...
Do you have a good Santa experience? Maybe you don't have good ones.
As a young youth?
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
Well,
I think so maybe... if there was ever a me and Santa experience, or me and, like, Easter Bunny at the mall experience, it had to be mad young. But then also, my pop wasn't really into that. Like, maybe my grandma would have took me or something.
My grandma took me every year to get a picture with Santa.
Yeah.
My parents never took me.
There was never any confusion.
Unless they had to go.
There was never any confusion as to who bought the gifts in my parents' house. They wasn't playing that Santa foolishness.
Like that. This isn't from an imaginary.
No. We never wrote no letters to Santa. We didn't leave no cookies out. None of that foolishness. None of it.
I'm pretty sure I never left any food out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I went a long way away from where you were.
No, it's fine.
Santabush.
Yeah, but it was absolutely amazing. Again, shout out to EGC. What they do for families every week is incredible, but what they do during Christmas. So families can register, and then they come in, And there's different sections in like this holiday shop for the most part, where the kids get to shop and get some items. The head of the household gets to shop and get some household items. Other adults that are part of the household also get to shop and get some items. They just throw them in these big gift bags, and bam, they're out the door. Absolutely, just like incredible. So when they come in, they verify the registration, and then they get the opportunity to get a picture with Santa. So it was at the end of the night, once I was home, and I was retelling the story of just giving that experience to Briana. I was like, wait a minute. I'm in a lot of people's homes right now.
Bruh.
It's a photo of me. I got to hold a baby. Somebody gave me an infant, bro.
And Santa melted.
On camera, I can say I didn't want to get an infant back, but...
I want to know what the pictures look like that are now in people's homes. Because the picture we have of him as Santa, he believes he's smiling.
Right.
He is not smiling.
I be smiling.
And this is exactly the disconnect that Ambush has with his face. He thinks... I obviously am portraying exactly how I feel right now. The most joy I've ever felt. And so I wonder if you even cracked an actual smile in the photo.
So what happened was the first photo we took, I was laughing. So there was a smile there. And then the second photo, shout out to Uncle Tony. Miss Tony was like, smile, Santa. And I was like, oh, I'm doing that thing again. Where I think I'm smiling in my head. And I'm not, fam.
And I'm not.
And I'm ice grilling. So then that point forward, I made a point to make sure like I was showing teeth. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And it was great. It was great. I had a little one come up to me after the photo. They started doing some shopping and they came back. And this little girl says to me, thank you so much for being here for us. Gave me a huge hug and then ran back to do more shopping. And let me tell you something.
Never be the same again.
Immediately, I'm like, I'm doing this next year. They're not going to be able to stop me.
AJ, please hire me right this second.
If you book another Santa, I will find my own suit. And I'll show up.
No, well,
you know why? Because Santas get hugs and appreciation. You guys are really missing out. It's a whole racket. You didn't know that? You feeling down? Dress up as Santa. Show up somewhere for Christmas. Boom, spirits lifted. Just go to Lloyd Center. It's packed right now. Everyone's ice skating. I was there yesterday. Is it packed? It's jamming at Lloyd Center right now. A lot of the spots that were empty are like Christmas pop-up shops.
Sure.
Like, it's cracking in Lloyd Center. Don't in a Santa suit. Don't be creepy. Go kick it.
Thank you because for real, man.
Yeah.
This is
don't
like a...
Don't do clown stuff. Go kick it. You know what I'm saying? Kids gonna, oh, Santa. And, have some dad jokes on you. I didn't have to crack any. Yeah.
Well, because you were Santa. You don't really need to do a whole lot of talking other than
true.
Your present is this.
Yes, Lily, join me as the elf. You already have the outfit. Listen, John brought up a really good point.
Shout out to John in the chat.
You know what I'm saying? He said, I go to the nativity scene, and that was that when I was a young youth. Santa was the devil. So, yeah. It says like, okay. But you're right. We had similar backgrounds.
Yes, you and
growing up. Religious backgrounds. Those old Seventh-day Adventists.
Yeah.
Shout out to DJ Cliff, too.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Santa was the devil. Santa was Satan.
Wait, for real? What? Carlos, are you here? I don't see you here.
Was he Seventh-day Adventist too?
Yeah.
Oh, we squad deep. Listen, we're talking pagan rituals. Santa, the Christmas tree, Saturnalia.
I'm sorry?
There's a lot going on here. Any worship outside of
show my ignorance
any worship outside of our Lord and Savior is pagan worship. You can put in a tree in your house. How dare you?
Is this all? I mean...
What are you, a witch? Wiccan? What are you doing?
Mike could be a witch.
What, you starting a coven? Yeah. Yeah, but that was the deal. He wasn't doing all that. It's true.
Wow.
Thanks for that reminder, John.
Santa was the devil.
Santa, Satan. Shout out to Jack Black. That movie's out now.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that trailer.
Yeah, man.
John said, I would love to be Santa, but I'm way too small. a fidget Santa ankle.
I'm telling you, it would work, bro.
Listen, everybody gets to be Santa.
Everybody gets to be Santa.
Santa's got to be represented in all shapes and sizes and colors and hues,
yes.
you know? Like,
it's different. It's really different.
It's completely different.
It's really different. Everybody's Santa now. Know that.
It doesn't make you a DEI hire.
Okay. I mean, if you say so.
I just mean the representation might be working.
DEI Santa?
Someone's got to do it.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So, you got to be Santa.
Yes. The pleasure was all mine.
You want to do it again next year?
I'm going to do it again next year.
Okay, I don't think that's...
Yeah. Contract signed. It's done. Done deal.
Oh, okay. It didn't sound like that.
To who?
No, just earlier it sounded like there wasn't a contract signed because you said if I will get my own, and then I'll just show up.
I got the email, .hub. I signed it just now. I'm locked in. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Signed in bonus and everything.
Oh!
It's great. Done deal. So yes, I'm going to be Santa next year. You're welcome.
I'm excited.
All right.
Hopefully I'll be able to come and see you be Santa. And also Lily be your elf.
That's right.
I'm excited for that.
That goes down.
Very, very much. I didn't get to do any of those cool things this weekend. I wasn't Santa. Wasn't Santa's elf. I did get invited to a holiday party, which was really fun. But it's weird to get invited to something that you would have normally been going to or have only previously gone to as a couple. And then your partner not be invited.
Yes. Yes.
Not a fan.
I will say this. I did not take it as a slight. I didn't. So the previous year, the same party I DJ'd.
Yes.
Crushed it down like I normally do.
Indeed.
Good things.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because we're in bed and you're like, hey, remember the RSVP?
Yeah.
And I'm like, for what? What are you talking about? And then only to find out you got the invite this year and I didn't. And I was like, hey, man, mixing it up. Okay. I see what's happening here. You know, I've been to a couple of other events, what are those things called? When you come in and they ask your opinion and they present you with stuff.
They ask you your opinion?
Yeah. When you get a bunch of people together and you present them with them stuff and you're asking them for their opinion.
Oh, like a strategy session or a think tank or
something like that. Yeah, I've been invited to a couple of those. None
of those things are the things I think you're saying.
Yeah, but it's the direction we're going. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Michelle will say the word in the chat in a moment, so I'm not going to rack my brain.
Yeah, let it go. Yeah, I've been to a couple of those. And previously, again, you would be my plus one. It felt good for it to be like, and this event was no plus ones. This year it was like zero plus ones. So, oh no, Lily, not a cult. So for it to go from you being my plus one to you being the one invited, I was like,
oh, look what she did. I don't think it was that. I mean, I don't know. Unsure.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But a weird feeling for me, especially in spaces that I am normally your plus one.
Yeah.
And to clarify, I mean, I get invited to things on my own. I'm not riding this dude's coattails or anything.
Not at all.
You know what I mean?
I thought she's a good-looking plus one.
I'm an independent lady.
Liberated.
Liberated.
You know?
I know how to pay my own bills. Anyway.
Burning bras, left and right.
You know? I do have my own credit card.
In your name.
In my own name.
Yeah, in your name, no less.
Anyway, to be in spaces where I continue to say this. I am from here. I know so many of these people from, pre-existing life. That's not what I was going to say, but, but I had not been invited to many things that I then got to go to because of your association with some of those same people. I don't know, patriarchy.
Wow. Wow. It's really just
never made a name for myself.
We trafficked in different industries at that time. That's all. That's all it was, You got to go to Broadway conventions and things like that and fancy dinners and company lunches. I just threw that in there. That was not something you enjoyed
were trying
at
to
all.
make me spit on the equipment and that's
Yeah. But yeah, we trafficked in different industries at the time and now it's a complete crossover. Media things, nonprofit things. You're about to start landing some grants.
You're going to start what?
Landing some grants.
Landing some grants.
You know what I'm saying?
That's, I appreciate it.
Things are a little different now.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, you're an entrepreneurial John.
And a professional. So, but it was weird. It was weird to go to that by myself. Definitely had a wonderful time with all of the ladies that I know and love and the folks that I met. Shout out to Nakia. Girl, made my night. Made my whole night. I did. I had a wonderful time, but it was just kind of weird. And especially when there's so much overlap in those circles. So then everyone's like, where's Ambush tonight? Where's Ambush tonight?
Right.
How's Ambush doing?
And it's different if I'm working or something.
Right. Right. Anyway, I did have a great time. I hope I am invited again. And I hope you get invited too. And if you don't, then I'm sorry.
Hey, man. Somebody's a little cooler this year. That's all. This is how we closing out 2024. You the cool John.
Finally.
Oh, my gosh.
Catching it.
Yeah. Well, I had some downtime because you're not, out running the city. You know what I'm saying?
Doing a lot today.
Spent that downtime actually driving to Seattle to pick up our little one.
Indeed.
Yeah. Man, traffic wasn't too bad going up. We picked up an extra hour on the way back because the semi ran off the highway into the middle lane, the median. So it was traffic on both sides. Gaper delays. It was ridiculous. But yeah, then we came back home. Was able to close out the night with you guys over at Alberta Street Pub. Love it over there. Shout out to Tyrone and the whole squad. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do some stuff out of there soon. But yeah, I've had some downtime since then. Got some gigs again coming up this weekend. But just been chilling this week, catching up with content creators, catching up with different shows I've been watching. Shout out to FD Signafier, often identified as my twin. I am
his YouTube twin.
I'm the Family Dollar version. He's been talking about this Diddy video that he's been working on for quite some time. And it's finally done. It's out.
It
landed. I would definitely encourage everyone to check that out. I think it's called It's Bigger Than Diddy.
Yeah.
By FD Signafier. I'm through the majority of it. I was listening to some of it today while I was setting up. Incredible. Definitely subscribe to that channel. Hop on the Patreon. Head over to Nebula for the uncut version of it. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. But he breaks down not just what everything that we're seeing right now playing out with Diddy and accusations and the allegations and the upcoming trial, but more so how he got here and then what this means as a great implication of, our relationship with women, not just within the hip-hop industry, but just American culture. It's really good. Really, really good. Some of my best work. If I were to claim someone else's work, which I often do. So, I'm in a real honest mood right now. I'm in an honest place.
Is that okay. I'm a little worried.
Don't worry about it.
Just to briefly mention that the drone, we talked about the drones, slash.
Oh, last Thursday?
Yeah, questionable. What did they say? There was a mothership that came from Iran.
From Syria or Iran or something. Yeah, Iran, yeah.
Yeah, threw out a bunch of, like, bus-sized drones, and there's a whole lot of lights going over New Jersey. Only an uptick since then.
Right.
Only more drones.
Right.
More lights, more confusing things. It is, in fact, not legal to shoot down a drone in New Jersey. I don't know that means folks aren't going to try it.
I mean,
they
haven't started yet, which is, I mean, it's not legal to shoot down a drone, but it's also not legal for the drones to be doing what they're doing. So, saw an interview earlier today with the mayor for one of those towns in New Jersey, and he's like, I just came from another info sesh where they had zero information. They went as far as to say, what you're seeing aren't drones.
Oh, what are they?
They are manned aircrafts. They're,
Polaroid pictures.
You're kind of...
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a plane? Or when you say manned aircraft, you just mean a thing that can be in the air.
Yeah, they're talking planes. They're talking planes. So he said at this point, his major concern before was, where are these things coming from? Who's manning them? And now he's saying because of the responses that he's getting from the government, he feels as though, oh, this is a government operation. That's why they can safely say, these are not a threat. We know they're not coming from a foreign country, but also we can't tell you anything. And he was like, oh, this is a federal thing that they're doing. He said because, he said one of the reasons they can't bring them down is because they cannot intercept the radio signal. These things are not emitting a radio signal for them to intercept. 1. 2, the flight patterns, they're grouping and staying in certain areas. So he said it's giving off they're searching for something. He was like, that is what I'm concerned about. Why is the government flying drones all over the place and not telling us what they're looking for? Yeah. So, there it is. John, I just saw your ask. I am grabbing that FD Signafier link right now, sir. Bam. Throwing it in the chat.
Okay, Kyle said they also disable anything that gets close. So...
Yeah, come on, man. That's not a consumer drone. These aren't. These are military grade drones, bro.
But are they our military grade?
I think so. I absolutely think so. Yeah, definitely. There's too many in our airspace. There's just way too many.
Okay.
And if they weren't ours, they would not be playing like this.
And instead, none of them are aliens.
Right. Instead, they're like, hey, man.
That was a question.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Oh.
Instead, they're like, hey, man. I know you said that thing was the size of a bus, but did you really see it? Also, if you did see it, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it and don't shoot it down because that's illegal.
Right. Please, you can't shoot it down. Don't worry about what you didn't see.
Ay.
Yeah, it's utter foolishness.
I mean, so the way that my brain, if I'm just trying to think of, like, if the response from the government is nothing to see here.
Right.
That usually means there's lots to see there.
Right.
Right. But my brain goes all these different ways. Like, the sort of more straightforward, like, hey, guys, don't really even look at this. This isn't that.
Yeah.
But the reasoning behind it, I don't just trust that is just us either. You know? Like, and I didn't mean to say I don't trust it. I guess I just also think that we do a lot of saving face and not a lot of, like, we just do a lot of saving face. So if that wasn't us, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll just say that.
It's idiotic. It's wild. It's disrespectful.
Kyle said consumer drones, you know they're up to something when they're like, they're just toys, guys. You know, the ones your drunk uncle messed around with too much. Like,
right. Come on.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
That's always going to make me, what? I'm sorry. I'm supposed to not be concerned by this. I saw a thing from a Republican senator from New Jersey, and he, much like who you saw, same sort of thing, was like, we're asking questions, we're getting nothing, none of this actually makes sense. This feels like a threat, so why are you not treating it like a threat? Right. And what the response that is coming out right now is only breeding fear.
Right.
And so people are not, like, comforted by the fact that the government's like, nothing to see here.
Right.
These are the moments where it's, like, very easy to understand why people think the government is, like, the worst thing in the world and it should just not exist. Because if all you do is lie to us and, like, take all our money, I guess there's reason to feel that way.
Did you see,
I just feel like we could make it different and it could work in our favor. Go ahead.
Did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet about the drones? She said the
Are
government...
they Jewish space lasers?
Someone asked her that in response. She said the government is in control of the drones and refuses to tell the American people what is going on. It really is that bad. So someone responded to the tweet and was like, are there Jewish space lasers on these drones? But then the majority of the responses were, you idiot, you are the government.
Yeah, I got questions. Is she... Well, okay, she misspoke. She misspoke.
Okay.
She meant the deep state. The deep state is in control.
Don't Biden's government.
Don't let the woke mind virus fool you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so the government's not telling us. You are, in fact, a congressperson with already too much security clearance.
Way too much.
Already way too much. What can you tell us from your status? Absolutely nothing.
Which to me solidifies that this is a government operation.
Which part?
How you just like laid that out? You're part of the government and you don't know? Yeah.
Well, I'm okay. To be clear, that's not really.
No, how it hit me. I'm saying. That's not how you relate that. But yeah, don't tell Marge. Don't tell her.
Yeah, you can't tell her.
You can't tell her. You can't tell her.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. No, don't give it to the crazy one. Don't tell her. Because she'll go somewhere else with it.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Pizzagate.
Yeah.
I think the body has different clearance.
Right.
Due to what they're doing. I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene, even having this job, is like a terroristic threat.
A threat to national security.
That's how you say it. A threat to national security.
Yeah.
So the fact that she has clearance to like walk in and have an office is enough for me. She should not get more. And I know that there are people in the government doing things that other people aren't privy to, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of thing is visible. We could see it. And the idea that we're just going to be like, nah, it's not really happening, or that's a plane.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't even know how that's... I guess this keeps happening, though, in the way of the response from, like, the White House to things is very often like, what fairy tale book did you pull that from? Like, what do you even mean? That's just not real.
Right.
So the fact that this is the same makes sense. I shouldn't be surprised. I guess I'm just saying, like, it's absolutely ridiculous to do.
And it breeds distrust. It just continues to compound the distrust anyone has for the government.
Thank you.
It's just absolute nonsense. Like, it's ridiculous, B. Like, come on, man. Shout out to the homie Rich Romano. What up, B?
What up, Rich?
He's like, Am. And Miss Am, how are you there?
Oh, that's me.
You know what I'm saying? East Coast family, what up, sir?
Lily said, it's hard to trust anything that is not only not being explained, but are fully denying their actual existence.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's ding ding.
Yeah, I'm not with the shits. Not those shits, anyways.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was a little confused by is I saw this story earlier today about SoftBank announcing a $100 billion investment in America.
What is SoftBank? What is all this?
It's a bank.
Okay.
So SoftBank CEO and the president-elect, sorry, I'm just still having a hard time with like Donald Trump being the president-elect, announced a new investment deal where SoftBank would invest $100 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years.
What are we talking about?
The deal, which is expected to create at least 100,000 American jobs, was hailed by Trump as a historic event that would ensure the U.S. leads in sectors like artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and other industries.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This announcement comes after a similar deal in 2016 when Sun pledged $50 billion in investments and 50,000 jobs. Sun explained that the increase in investment was in response to Trump being a double-down president.
Where is this a U.S.-based company?
No, this is a Japanese bank.
Oh, okay. That's why, I think that was...
Masayoshi Son. I'm sorry, I went right past the CEO's name.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Cool. I was just trying to understand how this is working. $100 billion investment into America.
Well, and the tech sector, which certainly makes a lot of sense. Because we're really not doing well there. Like, just like no money at all in tech. Almost zero.
Jesus.
Yeah, so, Michelle in the chat, a Japanese multinational investment holding company headquartered, wow, in Minato, Tokyo, Japan. Not a bank. That was me messing that up. Doing all the news wrong.
And of course, Trump's he's excited about this.
Oh, no, this
Elon
is...
as well. Oh, yeah.
Well, one, who doesn't make good deals, okay? I make good deals. I made a big deal. What a good deal for...
Chill out, Alexa.
Wow, that's loud.
Home, Alexa. Sorry. You mentioned Elon. You start mentioning all this tech investments.
You say $100 billion, and she's like, what now?
Right. She just perks right up.
Don't want it.
Yeah.
Wish it wasn't here.
I'm a fan.
Of me wishing it wasn't?
No, of it being here.
Oh, cool.
Just ask it to play not like us and just keep it moving.
So anyway, I think to a Donald Trump, what a good deal means is the number that he can say out loud.
That he can say, I did it.
100 billion is more than 50 billion, so look what I did. No other president ever in their life has ever thought of numbers with B's at the back. Like, that's what we'll get. I have a lot of questions on why a multinational investment holding company would want to invest in tech in America when I think that's all we invest in right now. The military and tech. That's it. That's where all the money is.
Mm-hmm. I would say primarily because we are a nation of consumers that will buy any and everything. Any and everything.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to be a professional in this moment.
Oh, because that is Kaylin connecting, reconnecting to Alexa by accident.
I caught it.
Yeah.
But it just kept going and then it did like a... And I was like, I don't know, maybe she's just really malfunctioning. We just watched that Afraid movie, you know, maybe it was
Again, great movie. Sorry, Kyle. Don't know why you hated it. But anyways, yes. What happened?
That Michelle's just making a really good point. I don't want to...
Oh, no. Go ahead.
So, Michelle said, the U.S. tech industry is potentially way over-invested in an AI bubble that's not going to generate the promised profits. Ding, 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 ding. And things have not been great since the end of low interest rates. Ready to flip a table.
So, what is the game plan for this $100 billion?
Oh, jobs.
Job creation. I do jobs.
I do jobs.
I bring in the most jobs.
Look what I've done. Now there's going to be 100,000, you know, emerging technologies jobs that more people doing AI. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Bring
it on.
There are just a lot of ways that this is bad for America, you know? And you know what I mean by when I say America, I mean working class people. And across the globe.
Right.
But this in particular, that's consolidation of more corporate power, right? Like that's talking about just creating more jobs, but really it's going to be, we can work for these amount of companies because they're just buying everything. The dependence on foreign investment. Like that is Donald Trump, and countries shouldn't run that way.
Facts.
Like America does all of this foreign investment elsewhere, and it's never to invest in them and allow them to let those little seedlings flourish and grow.
Yeah. Just investing in spreading democracy.
Never ever is it that. So why do we think that that's what's about to... We're just investing in you because you're super freaking cool? Like, in what regard? There's so much of this that just is like, I do understand the idea of not having career politicians continue to be this version of politician. Sure. I will never understand the idea that a good businessman is supposed to make a good president or a good politician or a representative of people. I'm never going to understand that. So when we have this moment of seeing what it looks like, we already had it. We had 4 years already, and we are currently living in the policies still, many policies still, of that businessman. Again, you are just selling off the country to foreign investment and then selling to your constituents that foreigners are bad and that the worst thing we could do is open the borders or whatever. But I guess money doesn't have those. Like,
I'm sorry, what country owns TikTok? Is it China?
I think.
Okay, all right. Lily
yeah,
says,
because the CEO or the guy that was in testifying in front of Congress was like, I'm from Malaysia. I'm not.
Right. Lily says, U.S. receives a $1 billion investment. Trump tosses paper towels, single eggs, and bacon into the crowd.
Ooh.
Pretty accurate.
And by 700 other Mar-a-Lagos.
Yeah.
I mean, it is China. The kind of money that the rich people, the already insanely wealthy, should not be able to amass that much wealth. Oh, look what we've done. The amount of money they have made since Elon's investment is paying off and Trump became president, astronomical wealth. Astronomical wealth. And like, in comparison to what is happening to folks who don't have any sort of like understanding of what it means to have $1 billion in the bank. It's not so great down here. It's not looking so good. All of the things that could be happening are just going to this teeny tiny little handful of people who are completely fine to exploit every single one of us in order to make more pennies. Like, this is a pivotal moment.
Right.
Can be a pivotal moment. And it's hard for me to understand just the not grasping. This isn't nuance. Like, Donald Trump being the America first and all about America, but also we're going to get it by taking money from foreign investment as if that's just money they handed over because he said, I'm the president now.
With
not
no
as
contingencies.
if there's a contingency, a string, anything. Not as if that means implementing something else. Like, the people who voted for him, you say what to this? He is a smart businessman. And that's wild to me.
They're going to say that whether he did or didn't do this.
Oh.
There's nothing that he can do moving forward that's going to make them not say he's a smart businessman. They're already, like, they're dialed in. This is their guy, Donald Trump, the smart businessman. Boom. What are we even talking about? What's the big deal? As the prices for eggs and milk and everything goes up, they'll believe whatever he says next. Remember, he already said, hey, in that interview, it's going to be hard to bring those prices back down once they go up.
I mean, do make sure you say, he didn't say that before he was elected.
Right.
There wasn't a moment of a shrewd businessman who understands that things fluctuate.
It's going to be hard.
The only way things get done is he negotiates it.
Right. It's going to be hard to bring them down.
So, failure.
I know what I said, but it's just going to be hard.
Failure.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's how it needs to be treated. You told us that you're the one who does this because of your negotiation skills and because you're a businessman and because you know how to do this and that. And if you can't bring the grocery prices down from your neighbors, I mean, fail.
Sorry, buddy.
Fail?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even when he loses, he wins.
It's true. The thing that kills me about these kind of investments is the more that these powers consolidate, that is just the more erosion that happens to workers' rights and in any way that we had movement, you know what I mean, collectively.
Yeah.
And that is why, for me, we need to be using this pivotal moment. They've been waging class warfare forever. And this needs to be the moment where we understand where we are in that. And that includes the people that voted for him because he's a good businessman.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how we're going to explain to them that that's not real and get them to understand or care. I don't think it'll be based around him. When you see freaking Mitt Romney, I don't know if you saw that today. Well, I saw it today. I don't know. It probably happened on Sunday or something. But, he was just like, the Republican Party is MAGA at this point. That is what it is. And 2028, we'll probably be looking at J.D. Vance as the candidate.
Oh, my God.
And he wasn't saying this as and this is why I left the right. He was like, that's what it is, y'all, and that's what we're doing. And so it's weird because there's working class people that like us now, and that doesn't make any sense because our policies aren't going to be that. We're not going to do it. They don't align. They don't align. Sorry.
You're cooked, bro. You're cooked. Absolutely. Super cooked.
So when you hear stories of the $100 billion investment coming from any foreign investment firm, holdings company, there should be a lot of questions that pop into your mind. This should not be like tight. Flat out, what would be the incentive? What's worth $100 billion?
Your citizens. Thank you.
As we are dealing with the
access to your citizens.
Let's pretend that TikTok is the only threat to America at this moment.
Right.
And it's because China wants our data, which China already has because America sold it to them. I guess not an issue over here. Don't even need to think about that. Not an issue at all. Investing directly into tech and AI, or at least telling us that, which one would...
Yeah, that seems like a huge risk. But again, it's $100 billion. It's Trump's administration. It's going to be great.
We're going to be, when you hear the word trillion, if you don't understand what it means to have $1 billion, you most certainly do not understand what a trillion means. When someone's like, we're X trillion in debt, do you think that when we take $100 billion investments from holding companies, that don't add to the thing that you guys were telling us is a bad thing to have?
We're going to flip that. We're going to flip the $100 billion to $300 trillion.
Oh, you know what?
By the end of the administration.
Silly me.
You know what I'm saying?
I do now. You're right.
It's going to be a robot in every home. Get ready. Your whole lives are going to be better as we move to Mars. Elon and them. You just got to have the vision, babe. You got to have, the imagination to see through, all the mess.
The malarkey.
Yeah, you got to,
get through that.
You got to comb through all of that.
The muck and mire.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Future speak. You know what I'm saying? You believe it. You believe it. I mean, it's just add to the list of things that I'm concerned about with this next administration. I don't feel like we've been blown. I feel like we've been doing a better job not blowing the doomsday whistle.
Better job than we. Okay.
Previous,
yeah.
going into the election and
I'll take that.
The immediate response coming out of it. It's just settling in that this is where we are. Things are bad. They're going to get worse. And hey, every day will be full of surprises. And that's something to look forward to. Surprise, surprise. Looky here. A militia. That's an exciting life.
I'm going to say you don't love it. Just want to be honest with you. I love you with my whole heart. I don't love it.
Yeah.
Stability.
Throw it out the window.
Go
ahead, though. Say what you want to say.
Something I need to thrive.
Well,
something I need to be able to feel secure in certain things.
You sound like a socialist. That's what you sound like. Those Marxist socialists who want your Obamacare and all the rest of that stuff.
And that's the woke mind virus.
Yeah.
Because a real socialist would understand that Obamacare is absolute not that. I'm trying very hard not to cuss.
I don't know why.
Because
Listen, we're past the 15-minute mark. You can cuss away.
Oh, is that all it takes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we should pass the 15 minutes. It's not like we're doing serious monetization over here anyways.
True.
The algorithm isn't really concerned with our political leanings.
I don't think that's true.
I didn't say the feds. I said the YouTube algorithm.
And I said what I said too.
All right.
Yeah, if you think that there aren't certain political leanings being boosted and others not, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Then we've not done a good job having meetings.
No. Our leftist progressive, you're right, are less popular than our adversaries. Those guys are getting boosted all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do not in any way agree with the popularity statement.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no, not at all.
Jamie, could you see which podcasts are being boosted?
Okay, but that's a different thing. Popularity sounds like the people's choice. And I'm saying that those...
Choices are being made for people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that doesn't represent... And that's a lot of our stories that we'll get to after the intermission is basically that. Like, we are not being represented in any sort of political structure as working people. Both parties currently serve the ruling class. So, and by currently I mean forever and always, designed that way. And each time that there was a moment where it looked like it would be different, done. Not doing that anymore. So, to be able to see that in multiple ways, this really comes down to all of the isms and all of the structures of oppression really all boil down to a class warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's what we'll get to after the break.
Okay.
I probably didn't land that plane the way I meant to, but
I feel like you did.
Here we are.
Letting them know on the Book of Faces that we are in a 10-minute intermission. Wait a minute.
You will want to come back for that, though. There are, honestly, for me, like, talking about Daniel Penny is a thing that is hard for me to do, period, without being real mad about it. And just the differences, disparities, whatever, like, that's what every single one of these stories at the end of this, show is going to be. There are just so many glaring differences, but they're based and rooted in many different things. So, that's what we'll do on the other side of the break.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie DJ Truth. What up, B? Now the East Coast love coming in.
Yeah, shout out to the East Coast. Michelle said just a little light class warfare.
Yeah, not
just
major.
a little. Just
major.
Doing a class warfare today.
All right, we will catch you guys in 10 minutes. Hello, and we are back.
It's us.
Welcome back to News My Fiance, Monday night, live, raw, in person. Raw live.
Get it right, get it
We're in
tight.
the second half. Shout out to Elias. What up, son?
Hey! Hi, Elias. In the chat, Elias said, in a social media post earlier this month, Trump suggested that any company that invests $1 billion or more in the U.S. will receive fully expedited approvals and permits. Should have had that in our story, sorry.
Vance just said, thank you for your purchase.
I mean, I think I did say that he's just selling pieces of the U.S., so.
That mess is crazy, fam.
No big deal. I mean,
wild.
we wanted a businessman to do business, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yikes.
and we doing it. And anybody who's upset about it, you probably are poor.
Nasty work.
I don't know.
Nasty work.
Bruh. Okay, Ambush, I'm not sure which one we want to jump into first. Actually, yes, I do.
Which one jump into first?
TYT.
Okay.
Are you with it?
The spice of life. Yes.
Because, why not? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not even 100% sure where to start on why I would even want to start with this story. But mostly because...
It's been fun to watch. That's why. At least on my end.
Fun isn't the word I would use.
Okay.
But I will say that it's been interesting to see people catch up.
Okay.
Because they lost me a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many other people with perspectives outside of Shank and Anna that they lost a long time ago. But, do you want to regale?
Yeah. The Young Turks, TYT, a progressive online news network, has faced several controversies and internal challenges over the years, leading to staff resignations and public scrutiny. How do you pronounce Shank's last name?
Uyghur.
Okay. In the recent months, Cenk Uyghur and Anna Kasparian have faced criticism from their audience for adopting stances that align more closely with centrist or even conservative viewpoints on key issues. The shift is particularly notable in Uyghur's comments on certain progressive policies, including a growing skepticism towards certain aspects of the left's embrace of identity politics, and a more nuanced stance on issues like crime and free speech.
More nuanced.
Yeah. Is that what I said?
No, that's what you said.
Oh, okay. Kasparian, known for her outspoken advocacy on feminist and progressive issues, has recently voiced concerns about the Democratic Party's direction and the rise of what she calls woke culture, further distancing herself from the more traditional left-wing rhetoric that made TYT popular. The shift has drawn ire from local viewers who accuse the pair of betraying the progressive principles that TYT had long championed. Critics argue that Uyghur and Kasparian are abandoning their commitment to social justice in favor of appealing to a broader, more mainstream audience, one that can be seen in the political center or even leaning right on certain matters. This ideological shift has not only alienated TYT's audience, but has also led to significant resignations from staff members who feel that the network's core values no longer align with their own. Since 2020, several prominent figures from the network have stepped down, citing ideological differences or dissatisfaction with the direction TYT is taking. The network's troubles began well before the ideological shift became evident. In 2020, TYT employees sought to unionize, citing issues with pay and working conditions. Despite strong initial resistance from Cenk, a vote was held, and the workers successfully formed a union. The ensuing labor dispute, along with growing tension over management's stance on worker rights, set the stage for deeper divisions.
I mean, this is how you lost me. Oh, okay, I'm not supposed to do that. This is how y'all lost me. You lost me a long time ago. You lost me when you claim to be progressive and also are anti-union. You don't get to be both, because you don't align. Progressive means we're moving forward from what we have been dealing with and do currently, right?
Right.
And that's not obviously the definition. But I mean, if what we have always dealt with, and certainly within our lifetime, major anti-union rhetoric, major corporatism, major conglomerate-making, monopoly-dealing things, to claim to be a progressive network that is successful enough to employ so many people that they would even qualify for a union is a really big deal. And it would, if it's me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys need to form a union. Number one, what am I doing wrong? What are all the things that I'm not doing to ensure that you are
happy?
Not just happy, but not be feeling exploited or overextended. Like, you don't form a union as people who are doing a thing that they think makes a difference. You're not going to form a union if your needs are being met. If you are not being exploited as if you were just doing a job you could have got paid not enough money to do over here. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, I like your analysis in the way of, if you guys want to form a union as an employer, what am I doing wrong? And I know you being an employer, you would encourage it regardless. But my initial reaction would be like, yay, union. And not necessarily like you're forming a union as a response to how I'm running the organization, but it's healthy, right? It's a healthy relationship between an employer and an employee. You guys want to form a union? Heck yeah. What am I allowed to do? Can I help you guys with this? What's happening? Where you guys want to have your union meetings? Like,
I mean, I love that. But the reason a union even needs to exist is because it's not healthy. Our work environments are not healthy, and we are exploited and taken advantage of at every point that they possibly can.
Right.
And the only thing that we end up having is collective bargaining because we don't have the money, but we are the workforce.
Right.
So, like, yes, like I said, I love what you're saying, and I love that your immediate response would be, how do I help?
Right.
But my immediate response is, that's a reaction. So what has been happening that isn't correct in the first place? How have you been wronged? And I'll also say that I don't think, no matter how progressive each person who works for you is, I don't think the immediate movement is a union. There's a lot of work that goes into organizing people. So what I mean by that is there have had to have been certain complaints and certain egregious things that were happening that were going completely ignored. Because it's just not your first step. Not in this world, not in the world where we still are listening to mainstream media demonize unions as if it's a wrong thing to do.
Right.
And you may work with people who have to interface with a union and they feel like that's a struggle. And so then if you work for people that sound like, I gotta deal with a union, you start to think that that's what that means.
That was definitely my introduction to unions when I was in my 20s, first getting like a real job. And it was like, gotta pay your union dues. That's the union, the union, they're always in your pocket. And I was definitely like, and I fall right into that. And I'm like, yeah, man, union sucks, bro. I don't even know what they do. I'm like 23. Yeah.
And unfortunately, education is regional, but there's not going to be a heavy emphasis on why unions are important, why they, we may talk about what happened and how certain unions were founded.
Right.
In high school or high school. But you're not likely going to learn about what that means to the impact of today, right? And I did not learn in high school that the existence of unions meant that the 5-day work week was a result of that.
Right.
Didn't learn that. Michelle in the chat said, good reminder that new season's union workers are still asking us to boycott for the holidays. So, big, huge reminder.
Yeah. Elaine in the chat said, I wanted to love you, TYT.
So bad!
No, we were huge fans, right? They were out here killing it. In contrast, it was like, let's go.
Well, what it definitely felt like was there was hope for a bigger left-leaning network, for sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of the content that they were putting out was in alignment. And by that, I don't mean the main show of Cenk and Anna.
Yes, right.
I mean all of the other stuff. And so, like the Rebel HQ stuff, when Emma was on there, Emma Vigeland, who's now on the Majority Report, like TYT Sports used to be a thing, and then I don't know what happened there.
It became everything.
Unsure.
TYT Sports is just all news.
Pop
culture. Yeah.
Culture news, yeah. But you've got the Damage Report and the Bitchuation Room. I don't know if that's actually, if Francesca's the Bitchuation Room is through them. I don't think it is. But maybe. I don't know. Apologies. I see Francesca on other things. I don't see her on TYT. Because they lost me a long fucking time ago.
Right.
You lost me when all of a sudden you're not willing to listen to your workers, but you're going to talk about how we need to unite for healthcare. Like, none of us are free until we're all free is always going to have to be the root, right? And so what we've started watching is their shift of saying that the left is embracing identity politics, but what really they're falling victim to it. Because the left is identity politics. But why is that? The right made you have to have labels. Like, you're not going to be able to say that it is outlandish for people to care about the identities that they are and live in and see the world through. That it's ridiculous to talk about politics through that lens. You're not going to be able to do that and still be considered anywhere near left or progressive. Like, sit over there where really what you're trying to do is put a pride flag on a bomb. Like, if that's where you at, sit there. The amount of people that they ended up coming through TYT and doing the I left the left because, and now the two main hosts are doing it and pretending like they're not, is some wild shit. Like, y'all really spent years making fun of those people. Dave Rubin, who should have never been on TYT in the first place. And again, you lost me. Why is this person who is very clearly just here to talk in front of a camera? Like, this is not a person who knows anything. They've not read a book about a thing that they're saying they're passionate about. Right. They haven't read further than maybe a paragraph into an article. But somehow this person is qualified enough to be on your network. And then when they're like, haha, I know where the real money's at, and they leave you before you figure out that, yeah, it's worth it to take that money, you made fun of them.
Right.
Jimmy Dore.
Rightfully so, though.
I mean, rightfully so, these people should be completely made fun of, but you don't get to act like you're not following the same path. You're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
When all of a sudden you're talking about crime statistics and, well, actually, guys, birthing people, like, get the fuck up out of here. 1,000%. When all of a sudden you knew what intersectional feminism meant, but all yours looks like is white feminism, suck my dick. I want no parts. And here she is now talking about the housing crisis as if, what are we gonna do?
Right. Anna got it wrong for me years ago with the Aziz Ansari situation. That's when I first had an issue. I think that was like the first transgression for me. And it was like, how can you not clearly see this as sexual coercion? Like, what's happening here? Like, how did you end up on the wrong side of history with this? This is really, really a super weird take. Then I want to say earlier this year, or it might have been late last year, we started seeing, her taking shots at the trans community. And not just taking shots, but like being real offended about things that aren't real. Yeah. Making herself a victim in situations where she absolutely was not. My name is Karen Kasparian when it comes to trans women playing sports. Definitely on her Karen Kasparian. Yeah. And then I remember Olay saying something about it, and then that led to a back and forth, and you just start seeing other the way she responded. Yeah, that thing blew up, and other progressive commentators. The way she responded to Olay was nasty, bro. Yeah. Like, and I'm sorry to interrupt. And other progressive commentators jumped in. Definitely, Emma came to her defense, like, hey guys, and not like, definitely not taking any shots at Emma, but like, when this is your homie and this is someone you have a relationship with, it's hard to imagine that they're going to make this hard shift because this isn't the person you know. Right. So what we're seeing definitely is the plan. This is the game plan. This is a decision that they've made to make this pivot because they're chasing these dollars. Cool. But if you don't know that and you're on the outside looking in, this is very confusing. So there has to be a misunderstanding here. Come on guys, come on guys, it's Anna, But yeah, so that, and then again, where she is now with going to the trans community, it's just like, what are we doing? So the resignations have been significant. If I can just add before you get to the resignations, that this isn't just Anna doesn't want one person to call her a birthing person, and that has made a bunch of people upset. They are doing their level best to open themselves to these ambiguous right-leaning content creators. So going on like Patrick Bet David's, I don't know, who cares? Going on that show, Tim Pool, like and being the amenable, like, yeah, that woke mind virus is strange. Like, the fact that they're even saying woke. I mean, they're not. To be clear, that is not the phrase they're using. I'm not saying they're saying woke mind virus, but Anna is saying woke. No, definitely. Yeah. The fact that they're even using that way is like, bro. I mean, Shank definitely, I'm a fan of Hassan Piker, and I think Hassan has a lot to do with why people our age and younger know who TYT is. He and Jank, that Jank is his uncle, and he definitely on stream has said, like, my uncle's wilding. No, just that. No, Jank has been on there being like, oh, don't be woke, like that kind of thing. He's such a weirdo, bro. Which is interesting because if you did watch them previously, you would have seen them make fun of people for even using that word the way that it's being used, and then all of a sudden you're sort of like, oh, now my politics are too, or I'm not woke enough. Like, if your politics start to leave people out, you're not. Yeah. You're not. If you are deciding to cut people out of who needs to be free and who deserves equality and who deserves equity, then your politics suck, bro. Then you're not woke enough, I guess. And if that word weren't appropriated, misappropriated, drugged through the mud, and turned into something else by the right, by conservative white people,
you know, then you would understand the insult it is for you to be asleep.
Right.
But y'all out here doing some dumb shit and acting like that's just a word, that's just like, it just means DEI to y'all. It just means affirmative action. It just means politically correct. It doesn't actually have meaning because when you are either white or treated as, your lens is going to be completely different if you are not trying to shift it.
Facts. 100%.
You do not have to be any one thing to, at the very least, understand the things that those groups of people have gone through. But if you can't remove yourself from it, that is usually rooted in whiteness.
So who left?
Anyway, a bunch of people have left.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still all very much listed on TYT's website. So that isn't the place to look for that thing. But most recently this month, Mondale left. Mondale Robinson, a political analyst and contributor to TYT for quite some time, who has added to many programs. He left. He quit live on someone else's show.
Right. I forgot about that.
Just in talking about it. Ben Dixon left in 2020. And
what did Ben see?
Ben saw it back then. I'm going to be honest. Ben was saying, yeah, this ain't cool. This is, there's some Fox-like things happening.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Things aren't what they seem over there.
In 2020.
In 2020. And I'm sure that there's more that I, just don't have by memory. But JR, who has been a staple there. I don't know how long he worked there, but he's been there the whole time I ever paid attention to TYT. He left today.
Wow.
Hit him with the deuces. And I think...
Come on over to Death Row, yeah? If you tired...
Talk to him, Ambush.
Shank being all in your videos.
Because he is. Because he's trying to be.
Oh,
There's something to be said about losing the trans people, the black people, the women. Like, there's something to be said about that. And that's not to say that there haven't been white men that have left, or you know what I mean? But, like, there's quite a list of people that have left that network. And for Jenk and Anna at the end of it all to just sort of be like, they tripping, bro?
Yeah.
I don't know what their problem is. And then what ends up happening is this, and the response of the left ends up being the full catalyst for them. They get to say, this is the reason I left the left. You guys are so mean. You did this. You said that. Blah, blah, blah. Circa Bernie, bro.
Right.
Like, we're just going to make it that this whole thing was intolerable, but you weren't here to do the change in the first place. You weren't trying to make a huge difference. And if you were, and somehow fell short, okay. But I got a hard time believing that somebody who is rooted in progressive, not just values, but understanding of what this country is, what systems of oppression we are under. But, you cannot fix or fight capitalism with black capitalism, right?
Right.
You certainly can't fix it with progressive capitalism either. So taking $20 million from this investment fund and 30, or, other millions from this, like, doing all of that, that's going to have an impact on your output. And there is something to be said about the fact that left-leaning, actual populist creators do not make nearly as much money, do not get the attention, do not get the boost, do not get any of the breaks and investment that conservative, hard right or extreme or whatever, and including centrist. All of the money goes there. And you can't really wonder why, can you? Like, who are the people around you? And are they all believing in those things that you see the money going to? Or does the money go there because they're trying to drive the people to care about it?
Right.
Like, know the difference between the fact that we out here crowdsourcing, right? Like, people doing Patreons. This is one of the things that pissed me off about big creators that then started having Patreons and those kind of accounts. If you are Joe Rogan and you have $100 million contract, I don't think you need a Patreon. And I shouldn't have said Joe Rogan because I don't know that Joe Rogan has a big contract.
You don't think he has one?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I know he has a big contract. No. I don't know if he has a Patreon. I don't know if that pod has a Patreon. I kind of at this point assume they all do.
Right.
But just take Joe Budden's pod. The moment they started doing a Patreon, I was mad. And the reason I was mad is you have a humongous audience. You are making a big dollar bill off of different things. You have sponsors. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it isn't that you don't get to do that too. It's that you get boosted off rip. It's that you need less funding, but you get more of the shine. So all these other pods, all these, content creators that live on a Patreon, that have to work 80 hours to get more subscribers to their Patreon in order to make their rent. And y'all have actual staff. You have people that do those things. I don't love it.
Yeah.
And again, it isn't to say that you don't get to do that. It isn't to say that... But my point is, we do not receive information based on what is popular. We receive information based on what is popular to who it makes money for. Is that how I wanted to say that? Basically.
Sounds about right.
I mean, those are the things that get boosted. You know, a Ben Shapiro gets boosted. A Tim Pool, like they're going directly to group. They are, without paying, they are being boosted, I guess is my point.
Right.
Like, algorithms find a way to work for them, rather you finding a way to work within the algorithm. Like, we shouldn't have to tailor our content in order to make it to hopefully somebody sees it when they're over there talking about, yeah, kill them all. And somehow, no big deal, and you can have millions of subscribers, and you can be bringing in all of these millions of dollars while spreading mis and disinformation, stoking fear, just doing threats all over the place. Like, there's paying attention to where the money goes, where it comes from, all of those things is incredibly important. And seeing TYT make this shift the way other people have made this shift isn't that surprising. What it is disappointing. Because that has been the biggest investment into what we know as progressive news. In that vein, you know, outside of Democracy Now! You know what I'm saying? Like, that is, they have big money. Big money. And to use it in a way that is not impactful to the people that make that network work, and not impactful to the people who are their audience. And then to have this, like, sort of attitude of, like, well, see, I would have never been progressive enough for you, so I'm out of here.
Right.
Nah, bitch, you were never about to be. If you weren't about it, you weren't about it. But you were able to do that for a little bit to get you to a place where now you have amassed a large amount of data, and you can take that to other places, and you can take that to other funding. And the loosier and goosier you get on whatever your values are, the loosier and goosier you get with where that money comes from.
Yep.
But pay attention to the fact that, like, Majority Report been around for hella long too, and Majority Report is not in any way getting $20 million investments from one person. There isn't, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Sam will say all the time he is a terrible businessman. A $20 million investment from someone who is a media conglomerate, someone who is active in investing in business, is looking for something. And it's usually not to get your word out.
Flat out.
Like, your word, your little station that you got going on over here ain't worth $20 million, even if that's pocket change to them. There's a reason someone would be like, here's $20 million. You're not getting that as a grant from a, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. Not that was $20 million grant should be a thing. I feel bad for the people that are still there. I feel bad for, like, John Idarola, who does the damage report. Fam been holding it down for a very long time, and it was him and JR to what I always watched. Which is going to make it hard. You know, like, I think they're in a very, very tough spot. And I did see Francesca say that, you know, she has previously floated doing a debate, like she and John with Cenk and Anna, and that's been like a no-go. It hasn't gone anywhere, nothing has happened. But, like, what happens now? There's not a whole lot that you could say, right? Without it being something that, like, puts your job in jeopardy. But you have, like, in this space, in independent media, you are responding to chats. You are, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
Speaking directly with the audience is part of this medium, and that's part of what makes it amazing. So, like, what are they supposed to do? Just pretend they don't see any of those? Where it's like, hey, what's going on with Anna? What's going on with Cenk? What are you about to do? Like, are they supposed to not do anything about that?
Right.
And what's the right way to go? Like, I'd be terrified. Just not a great way to be.
No, so, I mean, the exits make sense for that reason alone. Again, I am curious as to what Ben saw back then, and what's happening right now that so many people are just like, and I am out. Like, I've had it. What was the breaking points? So I'm curious. I need to go watch that interview with, what's the man's name that left while he was on someone else's show?
Mondale.
Need to watch Mondale's interview to get a better idea of what the conditions were.
I mean, he very specifically was like, I've been watching this right shift. Like, and I don't fuck with it. And I'm looking at this, and I'm not seeing... And I'm pretty sure that Ben was definitely in the same boat. Like, the increasing centrism is what he was perceiving as a drift, you know? And we are not in a time where centrism even should be on anyone's menu.
Right.
So when someone says, let's get back to normal, or I'm a moderate, or I want to be a little more in the center, that's you misunderstanding, or them misunderstanding that, like, choosing a side means extreme. Choosing a side isn't extreme. But we are now in the language portion of this where the extreme left is an centrist Democrat.
The whole idea of the extreme left is wild.
It really is.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
It really is. But if if it's completely, if they are able to frame that it's completely radical and unrealistic and the thought of extremists to have universal health care, doesn't matter how many examples of we have it working, doesn't matter how many different scenarios they run where it costs less money for us to do that, where it is more beneficial. It doesn't matter that, working class people in our current conditions have a life expectancy of 10 years less than somebody with more money. It is an extreme to bring those things up. But under capitalism and under dealing with making sure the ruling class gets exactly what they want, it's extreme to say I should get paid more than the federal minimum wage that hasn't changed since 2009. It's extreme to say that everybody deserves a place to live. It's extreme to say that we shouldn't privatize healthcare. We shouldn't privatize how people get well.
Right.
We shouldn't privatize and profitize, like for the most part, to make profit of all of the things that are things that have to happen here anyway. We have to have a place to live, right? You have to be able to see someone who knows what they're doing medically. And I'm being real vague with that in the way that, like, there are civilizations where there is no degree, but you know who to go to.
Right.
Like, we have to have those things. What does the human body need? Those are the things that should not be commodified. The rest of it, have at it, you know? You want to make different tiers of clothes and shoes and this and that, and, somebody makes enough money to wear only Gucci, go for it. Go for it. But that's the choice that we should be talking about, not who my provider is of health insurance, when their entire motive is profit. If your business's model is to profit, which businesses are,
right,
then you cannot be in charge of things that people must have in order to live. That just can't, you get to be the Daddy Warbucks of a different industry. But there shouldn't be a healthcare industry in the way that insurance, which is literally just a middleman saying, actually, I'll pay for that. Psych! There shouldn't be that, you should not include that. Insurance should not get to be called healthcare. That shouldn't get lumped in.
What we got? 10 minutes left? I would say, sure, we could take a pause, knock out the last story, and Kyle can just edit this out.
I say read it.
All right. And this is the Briana Boston piece. Okay. Briana Boston, a 42-year-old woman from Lakeland, Florida, was arrested after allegedly making a threatening statement during a phone call with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Frustrated over a denied medical claim, Boston ended the call by saying, "Delay, deny, depose. You people are next." Her words raise alarms due to their similarity to the phrase deny, defend, depose, which had recently been linked to the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The phrase is also associated with criticism of the insurance industry practices, as outlined in a 2010 book by J.M. Feynman. The FBI noted the Lakeland Police Department, leading to Boston. The FBI notified the Lakeland Police Department, leading to Boston's arrest on charges of making threats to conduct a mass shooting or act of terrorism. During questioning, Boston apologized, claiming she referenced the phrase because it had been prominent in the news. She expressed frustration with healthcare companies, describing them as evil and deserving of karma, but insisted she had no weapons and posed no threat. A judge set Boston's bail at $100,000, citing the seriousness of her statement amid the current national climate. If convicted, she faces up to 15 years in prison. The case has drawn attention to the power of language and high-pressure interactions with corporations, especially in light of broader criticisms of insurance companies' handling of claims.
So this must be the tyranny the white ICE has been training for, right?
I think so.
This is what Meal Team 6 is. They cannot wait.
Yeah, this is what they've been training for in the woods.
Gravy SEALs, unite.
What they gonna do about it?
Where are the free speech warriors?
That's what I would like to know.
Because, Ambush, I also have this problem. LMFAO at law enforcement, who can't do one thing if a woman calls for help in a domestic violence situation. Mm-hmm. But stating your prediction. Y'all next. Keep this up, keep going. That can break out the Minority Report pre-crime unit?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The amount of times the FBI is like, oh yeah, we definitely had that guy on our radar. Right until the moment before he bought all those guns and went and shot up that school.
Right.
That same group of people are like, let's get right on this one. This is class warfare.
Absolutely.
This is what it looks like when a millionaire who represents billion-dollar industry is killed. This is what it looks like. Because you better not never use the language of the person who did something like that.
Lord forbid.
Lord forbid. Being held on $100,000 bond when Grape typically has a $75,000 bond, absolutely hilarious.
Wow, for that night.
Real telling. Real telling. Also, amazing to me that the ability to define terrorism, the ability to classify it is so easy when it's times that those acts are not against directly black, brown, or non-Christian people. And by that I mean, who knows what this, the insurance phone person was that Briana was talking to.
Right.
Because the truth is that corporations are people. Okay? And those people mean rich people, which means none of those other things I just stated. For that to be labeled terroristic or an act of terrorism, but many of these incredibly, obviously, racially charged mass shootings or religiously charged mass shootings or sexual orientation charged mass shootings, those, unsure, guys. Just can't tell if that would be a terroristic threat. Not going to be able to nail that one down. And I just want to make sure that we bring it back to the point that Americans are saying that this is untenable, right? And we know that what is happening in every facet sits incredibly well with Republicans. It sits with them just fine.
Right.
So if the Democratic Party does not come out and run on universal single-payer health care, all of that talk, you know, all of that, you used to say all of the time, they love to lose. It's like they're trying to lose.
It's their favorite.
It's their favorite thing to do to lose. If y'all don't get serious and run on some of the things that actually matter to the bulk of people here, and if you can't learn how to speak to the same issues those people have in a way that hits them louder than the racism, louder than the patriarchy, louder than the bootlicking, it's almost my turn to be the biggest capitalist in the room. If you are unable to figure that out, you are not in the right place. You are ill-equipped. You are unable to do the job. You're fired. Because we can no longer continue to be your litmus test. We can no longer be what will the market bear. And we already are that to a different party. This group of people is already, the majority of people in this country is already lab rats to an entire group of people. And at some point, we got to get represented. At some point, the things that matter the most to us have to be represented or you're out.
Period.
You're out. And we can continue to watch the money of wealthy people flow between those two parties, but we know what we can do with our own. And the moment that we are united, we know, and you know, and this is why many previous people have been unalived by the government, because they are able to get to the point of class consciousness with a large group of people. And we have to keep striving for it. We have to keep trying. Because the alternative is this. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
The alternative is this. The alternative is living in untenable conditions that mean absolutely none of us will be able to thrive in any of the things that we are supposed to. And by that I mean the way that we are stifled by capitalism, the way that your creativity, whatever it is that you do, whatever interests you, whatever piques your interest and makes you feel like your best self, gets stifled. Because you have to pay for things that you shouldn't have to pay for. And you have to pay an astronomical amount, which means you have to work more than you should have to work. And I'm not saying this on no lazy shit. I'm saying this, that there's a handful of people making that money. It does not trickle down. That shit's a trick.
Right.
It doesn't reach us. And we just keep working and keep getting the shit end of the stick. And at some point, your hands have to be so dirty that they can't get washed anymore and you got to get something else on them. And that's the point that we're at, for me.
The response that they had to her making that statement on a call, of course, part of the overall reaction to Luigi. Something popped in my head. Was it yesterday? There was a whistleblower that was mysteriously found dead in their apartment. The police are saying that there's no foul play. We see whistleblowers get taken out a lot, and it's always these mysterious circumstances. Where is the concern for these? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is someone that.
Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but OpenAI is in fact technology, and so please be quiet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just thought it was like, that's really interesting. Y'all don't care about. Y'all care who y'all care about. Interesting who y'all do care about.
And that was going to be our other story that we didn't get to, which will absolutely be one of the top stories Thursday. You care about who you care about, and you pay attention to who you pay attention to.
And you want us to care about who you care about when you want to care about them. Like,
well, like all of that. And the thing is, when and this is not on some like, oh, you know, fake news. It's literally mainstream media is beholden to someone.
Right.
And beholden to ideas at some point. And if those ideas are anti-capitalist, they're not going to make it to air for often.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And the difference is very, very obvious. So we definitely will be talking about the continued, you know, the other portions of class warfare.
Right.
Because free speech used to mean something. TYT taking their whole, we gonna take money from the right. Or, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say. TYT taking big chunks of money and acting like they're independent journalism still. And we're going to have to talk about the differences in the way that Luigi Mangione and, what's the name? Daniel Penny.
Mm-hmm.
The differences in the way that they have been treated by media and reacted to by what we think is the public.
Right. Right.
We'll talk about that on Monday. There's a local story that we are definitely going to devour on Thursday. And to just give a, you know, quick little, I don't know if anybody's heard about it. There was a murder trial in Multnomah County last month. And the jury came to a decision. Well, one of the jurors said, we came to this decision by doing our own work, not by y'all homework.
Not the way the case was presented.
And went to, found their way to express that. And there's a hearing this week to talk about what happened in that juror room, in those deliberations.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to get...
What are the ramifications of that?
And what are the ramifications of that? We're going to get super into that on Thursday. Sorry for the tech difficulties tonight, but it's been a wonderful one.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat on YouTube as well as Facebook. We was cracking over at Facebook. What up, Janita? She hopped in there right before we dropped. Shout out to my man B-Knock, DJ Knock, in the vicinity right now. But yeah, we are also at 101 subscribers on YouTube. So
102.
Shout out 102. Excuse me.
102.
Just updated. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. But yeah, that was News of My Fiance Monday Night Live, Raw, live in person, in the books. Thank you for spending this quality time with us. This episode was made possible by our remote studio crew, Kyle G of Residual Audio, Jess M, Ross, and Michelle. Our in-studio sponsors, which will be back in studio next week. We Out Here Magazine, The Spirit of Justice. I want to thank them so much for opening their doors to us and hosting us every Monday. And of course, thanks to you all again for listening and staying engaged with us.
And stay engaged with us all week. Follow us on Instagram at News with My Fiance. Follow Ambush at Scambeezy, SKAMBEEZY. And me at Portland Morgan. Become a member and sock it to our pockets at patreon.com/News with My Fiance.
And extra large reggae horns for those that are already on our Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon.
Putting their money where their mouth is.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for that. Cool. We will catch you Thursday morning on X-Ray FM, 7:30 to 9:06, right before Tom Hartman.
Pacific Standard Time.
You know what I'm saying? You know the deal. Don't let the individuals distract you from the systems. Poverty is a policy choice. People over profits. Power to the people. None of us are free until we are all free. And again, we'll catch you later on this week.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. And you can catch this show streaming live on YouTube every Monday night from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And our podcast episodes are available everywhere you listen to podcasts except Spotify.